Omerem Shema Yisrael.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generation.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations presents The Eternal Light. This program is brought to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our play today by Norman Rustin is based upon a story entitled I Believe, as told by Yassel Ostrovitzer to Dr. Fischel Snersen. Featured in the cast are Alexander Scourby as the narrator and Roger de Koven as the Rebbe.
Doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow, she that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces? How is she become tributary? She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. She hath none to comfort her among all her lovers. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into exile because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the nations. She findeth no rest. All her pursuers overtook her within the straits. Jerusalem remembereth in the days of her affliction and of her anguish all her treasures that she had from the days of old. So it is written in the Lamentations of a city that was once great.
My name does not matter. I'm one who escaped from another city. Out of the valley of anguish and ashes, these feet have walked as over broken glass and nails to come at last to Zion's gate, Palestine. I know not how, but some strange singing of the Spirit that gave me strength. The song. Yes, those words. I believe. I believe. With perfect faith, I believe. It was the song born in the year of slaughter, and I have lived through it to tell you. I have walked over half of Europe with the words in my ears as God's grace. I believe, I believe. The melody was born in the ghetto. No one knows when and how. It appeared on our lips suddenly, as a flower one day springs from the hidden seed and is seen whole and wondrous in the living air. And so it was with this song that lifted our life at the edge of the pit and brought my faltering feet home.
Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Thou turnest man to contrition.
It is the time of burial in that city. City within a city. The groaning ghetto, bounded by grief and the guns of a modern pharaoh. Truly her pursuers overtook her within the straits, and all her gates are desolate. She is Warsaw before the massacre, while there was still time for ritual.
For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We bring our years to an end as a tale that is told. The days of our years are 80 years and 10.
Into the earth.
It is their pride.
And it seemed the dead did far outnumber the living. And some did say the earth groaned at night with the lamentations. There follows the Kriya, the tearing of the garment in bereavement, as once David for the death of Saul and Jonathan, as related in the book of Samuel.
Blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, the true judge.
Truly, all the treasures that she had from the days of old, Jerusalem remembereth. And there follows the week of mourning called Shiva, 7 for the 7 days. And a lamp burns in the house of the deceased. For it is said in the Proverbs, the spirit of man is the lamp of God, searching all the inward parts. And at a year, a marking is set upon the grave called Matsevo, and the observance of the Yahrzeit, the year, in the prayer of the Kaddish spoken by the sun.
Ose shalom bimromov, uyase shalom, olenu v'al Yisrael, bimroamin.
What is the light for, Rebbe?
It is the light for the dead.
How many candles are there burning for us?
Millions. For the Jews, not enough tallow to make the candles.
And God sees the candles?
Yes, he sees. Each light he sees. Everywhere he sees our little candle, which tells of our faith.
And it came to pass that even the faith dimmed as a star before the overwhelming day, their oppression 1,000 times greater than the 10 tests of Abraham endured before God. The year of the great slaughter was at hand, and over the ghetto hung the foreboding air.
Not here yet. Why isn't he here? Oh, where is he? Where is my son?
Be not frightened, dear wife. He will be home soon.
Oh, he was going outside. He said outside. Why did he go?
Why? He knows. Oh. He is old enough to know of sorrow.
Oh, listen. It is the curfew. If he is on the street after curfew, you know what happens to those who are caught.
Come away from the window.
Oh, wait, I see him now, coming down the street, running. Hurry, open the door for him. Open the door.
Yes.
Open the door!
Mama. I brought it, Mama.
In his hand, bread. Half a loaf of bread.
And once again, the Kriya and the Shiva. Yea, all the treasures that she had from the days of old, Jerusalem remembereth. And had I 7 tongues, I could not tell you the whole story of the afflictions. Had I 7 millennia of peace, I could not rest with the weight of those calamities upon my soul. And through it all we lived, or seemed to. Inside those walls our spirit rose and fell, and the days of waiting were as teeth that tore at our flesh.
Friends, we meet again in this little room to discuss steps to be taken.
Again? Again to discuss, I ask you, Rebbe, will we go to our graves discussing? We die as locusts in this accursed place, and you ask us to discuss.
We are prisoners, remember. We cannot do as we please.
But, Rebbe, what does he propose? Let him tell us. Speak.
We are prisoners, it has been said. And truly we are. But prisoners have been known to break out of prisoners.
And how, if we may discuss, do you propose to do this? With what?
With our hands, with stones.
Against the Nazi guns? You've seen them waiting high on the walls?
Yes, and I still say
and you ask us to die?
Do we not die now? Each day we grow weaker. Each day the strong ones lose strength. How long shall we have our faith?
What does it mean, such talk? Do you doubt your God?
Honored Rebbe, I say only that we are men. And a man is flesh and blood as well as a soul. And he dies simply by waiting. I speak the truth. Who in this room has not lost a dear one?
Alas.
Whose eyes have not the look of hunger? Only our prayers keep us alive, and for what?
I know. We know well their slaughter. They're coming with their carts to carry away the dead. They're coming with the wagons to take our dear ones away, God knows where, to exile, to labor. I say the time is not yet here to rise up against them.
I will not be patient any longer.
Then, if you please, you can discuss it yourself with the jailers, yes? I am not a coward. When the hour comes to fight, even with our hands, these hands will fight. Now I ask to be alone with my prayers.
Good night, Rebbe.
Good night.
We will meet again.
You do not go? No more crying. No more.
I want to ask you alone, Rebbe.
Yes, you may ask.
I'm frightened. In my heart, I do not understand. I cannot go on day after day. My baby is dying. I want to die.
No, that you must not say.
I've lost everything. In my heart, I cannot believe any longer. I don't know.
You should know, all of us, that the meaning of the commandment to relate the story of the Exodus from Egypt is to extol the wonders of redemption, not to tell us of the suffering and oppression which preceded liberation. During Passover, we recite the great Hallel which our forefathers said in the days of redemption. But we do not repeat the weeping of our forefathers in the days of darkness which came before.
Yes, it is true. Yes.
And this is the meaning of Izdabha Rucha Barucha. The human heart does as the mind wills. Thoughts and words of suffering and persecution are more harmful than the suffering itself.
I see.
That is why we find in the Master of Redemption, whom we praise, the miracle that keeps us from madness, the faith which seems lost but will be found again in some simple thing. Without it, the pulse of the soul fails. Without faith, it is impossible to die honorably. And that we must do. That above all.
And many thought, where was God? Was this the will of God? To visit upon us the same curse that felled the cruel Egyptian with locusts and the death of the firstborn? Was this his test to prepare us for his coming as told in our tradition? Yet how to believe? For the mouth that prays also needs water. The soul is tied to the navel of flesh. For I have lived through those times, and were each man as Job calling for justice, they would have reason before his eyes. And one would think, sitting upon this pestilence, this dunghill of the world, that they would shriek out. And often it would seem they spoke to him, though their eyes were lowered.
If my blood were milk, you would have my blood.
Why were you born? Why did you come? From darkness unto darkness is your life. There's nothing but a little song I sing in my heart all day for your father.
The Shiva and the burning candle. And we said, he will see, he will know. His light, though it flickers in the wind's grief, still burns. The song, listen. I hear it always in the air now that I'm safe. I believe with perfect faith. But still it was not sung. Still this melody waited to be born from the wisdom of Maimonides, waited to be born from the bottomless trial. And it was soon to come. They needed new murder, these people who lived on murder, these eaters of our flesh who will be damned unto the farthest generations. The need to kill consumed them. Their evil howled at their heels like voices driving them on. And we were the easiest to kill. Then they came.
Up! Get up! Open the door! Get Papo! How many in the family?
3 of us.
You will be ready in an hour. How many under 40 years?
2, myself and my son.
Be ready to leave in 1 hour. Gestapo, there are 4 children listed in this house.
Where do you take them?
For a ride, Jew. In the wagon. You know the wagon, eh?
Mama, it's dark. Mama, why are we getting dressed?
Hush, my child. Quiet.
Why are you putting on my new dress, Mama?
We're going away.
Where?
To Grandmother.
Grandma?
Sit still, child. Let me comb your hair. Sit still.
You're crying. I can see, Mama.
Yep.
I know why you're crying. You're afraid to tell me we're going to die.
Keep away! Nobody will be allowed to go near the wagon. Keep away, everybody! Keep away! You will go on the next trip, old woman. Away!
Take me with her. Take me, my child, my baby. I won't let go. I won't let go.
And some said, I believe the world will be redeemed with justice and mercy. But see, masters of the world, these are little children. See, our body is broken on the rack endlessly. See, our candles now become as many as stars. How long? How long? We are cut down as grass, and the scythe of ours will not rest. Not rest. Then it was that the word came.
Rebbe, I have news.
I see evil tidings upon your face.
Evil, yes. Evil beyond all evils. As if it were not enough this past month, now they come to take another 1,000.
Who?
Men, only men, for the camps. And we know what the camps mean.
Then it is time.
Rebbe, how does a man die best?
With knowledge in the right, with belief in God.
How does this belief show itself then?
In some small miracle, you will see. God will show himself.
When shall it be?
At dawn tomorrow.
How many guns?
20 guns. Also many sticks and knives which will be assembled at the walls.
And the stones?
Stones, yes. We have stones.
The German trucks will come in through the east gate. We will spread our forces in the rear area. according to this map. Ready?
Cannot be too soon. What is the time?
Almost dawn. Our last dawn.
There are lights coming. The trucks. Listen.
Last dawn. I wish there was something, not to pray, because that is a thing for each man alone, but something to bind us all at this last hour, for we will all die.
Did you hear?
A song. Listen. You remember hearing it before?
No. Yet the words are familiar. Listen. From Maimonides, his 13 Principles of Faith. I believe. With perfect faith, I believe.
The melody. Where did it come from? It seems as if the air is singing.
And although he may be delayed in coming, despite all that, I believe.
A new hymn to the martyrs. A hymn to life, though we die. Listen. The whole ghetto sings. All of us, brothers. Our God has given us this song.
Here they come now.
Fire!
That is the song. The same song that once burned upon my own lips, the miracle, and now is spread among my people and the living. The city where it came is no more. All is leveled. All that once stood, houses, trees, and men. But this I know. When the path seemed endless and as flaming fire beneath my feet, and I fell, I would hear that song. My own lips were singing it, my own lips, the song of the ghetto. Ani ma'amin. And my heart took strength, and I rose again. And I knew I must live to reach my brother's land, so I might relate this tale and its wonder.
And now we present a talk by Rabbi Leon S. Lang of the Beth El Congregation. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Rabbi Lang.
There are few men and women who walk this earth for whom some fervent hope has not withered before the tyranny of circumstance. For millions, an inner voice of the soul called out, I believe, I believe. That voice of faith transformed the tragic failure into a glorious triumph of the Spirit. These faithful have ever declared, the breath of the Almighty giveth me life. Human progress without such faith would have been inconceivable. Reaching out for the infinite, man, in his mortal frailty and limitation at his very best, attains only the barest fragment of his objective. Faith and faith alone dispel the blinding fog of confusion and the hysteria of despair with which human frustration so often afflicts us. During the war, We have witnessed the martyr and the hero vanquish pain, torture, and death itself through this invulnerable faith. Without such redeeming faith, Israel should have perished long ago. This fate was implied in the stern logic of historic events, and yet, from Moses the Liberator to the fearless rabbi in the flaming cauldron of Warsaw, a force far more potent than logic enabled the Jew to survive humiliation, hate, and annihilation. Before the ineradicable conviction, the righteous liveth by his faith, every ruthless device of the destroyer was rendered powerless and defeated. Reading today of the wrangling arguments of world statesmen at Paris, we are deeply alarmed. Shall we find greater security in the defeatism of the cynic, the betrayal of the last hope of desperate, misery-laden, homeless Jews at the gates of Palestine, and deplorable violence in the Holy Land are a severe test of our faith? Shall we afford them more speedy relief through the panic of the coward and the doubts of the skeptic? No, indeed. Justice and freedom and enduring peace can be achieved only by stout hearts and resolute spirits. I believe is no death wail in the night. It is a brave and bold challenge to a new and better life. No path is closed, no hurdle too high, no foe too strong before such invincible faith in the ultimate realization of man's noblest ideals. Trust ye in the Lord, trust ye in his prophets, and ye shall prosper.
Thank you, Rabbi Lang. Today's radio play, written by Norman Rustin, was based on the story I Believe by Yossel Ostrovitzer. It was translated for the May 1946 issue of Land and Life magazine by William Z. Spiegelman. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Cantor Robert H. Siegel sang the liturgical music. The role of the Rebbe was played by Roger de Koven, and the narrator was Alexander Scorby. The entire production was under the direction of Ed King. This program is a weekly presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations, and comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.